Hey, what's up? I'm Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. On today's episode, I'm talking to Mike and Tom from MxPx. Let's go.
I don't want no bad times. I don't want to have bad.
Kind of feels like we're back in school, seeing some old classmates.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
How's it going?
Man, it's good. It's good. Just doing all the stuff for this new record.
Yeah, it's been a grind.
Lot.
It's been a lot, and we're really happy. It's like,
Great.
You should be happy.
Yes.
Here's some more work.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
how long's it been since we've seen each other?
I saw you.
even
I saw
remember.
you in the UK.
Yeah.
I saw you when you played in
briefly.
Seattle, like 5 years ago or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, but it's been a long time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You guys look the same.
So do you.
Yeah, you look great.
Thank you.
We all look the same. It's awesome.
Drink a lot of water, get a lot of sleep.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sleep is the key. I don't get enough sleep, but I'm trying. I'm like trying to turn over that leaf.
Just got to commit to it, man.
Yeah, you got to schedule it.
I think, I mean, I get 6 hours at least every night.
I'm a good 7.
I'm like 6 to 7.
But 7 is like 7 to 8 is golden. That's like
When I don't have to get up, I usually get 7 and
Yeah.
wake up normal. So I'm like, okay, I'll just plan for that.
yeah.
That seems like what my body wants.
Yeah.
But you guys are, and I'm gonna show this because I'm really excited, especially knowing now you guys are. Is this your first self-release?
Second.
Second. Okay.
Second self-release.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
We did.
It's awesome.
We love it. We did. Our self-titled in 2018.
Yep.
And that was a completely different landscape than the world is at now.
Yeah.
So like now coming into 2023, self-releasing this, a lot of people ask, why do you self-release? A lot of it is because we found we were just doing a lot of that work anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just, the risk reward is different. So for
Yeah.
us, we'll risk a little more, but we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's why we self-release. We're doing the work, so let's just take that bag. So I don't know. It sounds more glamorous than it really is, because it is just getting out there every day and telling people about the new songs.
But also, it's funny we're talking about this because I've just this morning was on an email chain. Doesn't matter who or what, but an indie label has a band, signed them young, early, not a good deal, if I'm just being honest.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the band wants to change the deal, and it's fair. It's fair. They're not actually even saying we don't want to work with you guys. They're saying we just want a fair deal. That's why I think self-releasing is powerful, because you realize that, well, a lot of times the indie labels are worse. They do worse deals than the major labels.
That can be true.
Because
Absolutely.
a lot of times the indie labels are first on the scene early, right? They're like their networks spread out a little bit more deep in the roots of these bubbling scenes and things like that. And by the way, I'm not against record labels, not against indie labels,
Sure.
Right.
not against major labels.
Yeah.
I am against bad deals,
Yeah.
unfair deals,
Of course.
and I am for good deals. And I love it when I see labels make artist-friendly deals, and there are a lot of labels that do. But the nature of it sometimes is, if I meet a band early and can get them to sign a bad deal, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still wrong.
Yeah.
To me, that's
yeah.
just wrong. It doesn't matter when you met. And then they can argue that they've invested all this time and money into developing the band. Some of that can be true to a
Yeah.
degree.
But nowadays, the bands do most of the work.
Yes. And you guys are living proof. You've probably seen every kind of deal, but you've self-released your last 2 records.
Yeah.
And you're doing all the work because you know what you're doing, because you've released records. You've done so many records. You know how it works. There's no mystery to you about how to make a record, put a record out, and you have that. You believe in yourselves. You're confident. You're confident in this is the work. We're going to do it. I think sometimes bands come in early and they're a little confused, or they don't know how it works. And it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're young, you don't know how to put a record out. You don't know how to go in the studio and record or anything. So it's just you just go, oh, someone else will take care of it. We're just excited that it's happening.
Yeah. It's almost the easy part. But going back to what you're talking about, I feel like there's, with major labels, indie labels, self-release, there's not one right way to do things, right? Like
Right.
you can always find a really good edge.
Yep.
You know, I feel like bands and anybody that's doing anything creative with a team, on your own, whatever you are, find that edge, find that fringe, find that thing that is what you're wanting to do, but is a little bit outside of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And you can find your niche. You can find whatever it is that like gives you that edge over, I don't want to say competition. I mean, I guess you could say attention. You know, we're competing for attention.
That's it.
But yeah.
I think also when you do it yourself, you can just try things that someone may not really think is a good idea, and you go, no, but I think this is going to work. And so no one's there to tell you no.
I also think because we're independent as well, so we self-release,
Yeah.
right?
Dope.
Every win feels like a win. The little wins for us now feel more important. Like now, I don't think that we think like we need to have the biggest song in the world. I just think we're excited for any kind of any good result we get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has been one of the biggest things for us is learning like how to celebrate every win, a sold out show, or, you know, even though we haven't played in 5 years, we're going to play. We're going to play though.
You will be
We're talking
yeah.
about touring again, and we're
Nice.
like, we are actually just the idea of touring is like, I don't know, man. We're thinking like special. So we just think like, let's do like fan focused shows. Let's do smaller shows. Let's do things that feel good, and that feels like a win to us.
And especially if they're like a fun, just different event. It's not just, another show like that people are going to. If it's something interesting, and I don't even know what that is off the top of my head, but like those are the things that people just grab onto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about it. You got to figure them out, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the show is just the fact that they haven't played in 5 years. Like
Well, yeah,
anybody's
yeah.
going to show up.
You get a freebie
But
on the first one.
We were talking about just how, earlier in the car on the way here, about how good you guys were when we toured together.
Oh,
it was 2000.
Thank you guys.
And that kind of like made us like perk up and go, okay, we need to like pay attention to our live show. Because you come up as a band and you do your songs and you have your new album or whatever, and you just do what you do. But then you see something different and you're like, okay, these kids are like coming up behind us, nipping at our heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a competition thing. It was just like, oh, that's possible. Like that's a really good way that they break down the crowd. They get everybody singing, all of that. So
Your harmonies were just always just like perfect every night.
Yeah.
You're like,
You
"Man,
guys
these
were a better band than us. At the time, we were just focused. Just
That's what it
like
takes,
we
too.
just wanted to like make it, and we
Yeah.
were just trying to get in front of as many people. And you guys were one of our favorite bands, and I'll never forget it because when I saw you guys play on Life in General at my brother's place.
Oh, yeah.
this
Oh,
like
okay.
is that Waldorf?
Waldorf, yeah. Random ass place booked you guys,
Yeah.
right? And it was a packed show, right? And it was like the closest I'd been to any band, like any touring band. Like I remember my friend was like the runner or something, and I like rode in the car. I rode in the car with him, like taking, I forget. I want to say it was maybe.
Was that when you guys took me to Staples?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I like was just quiet in the back, just hanging out. But like that was the first time where I saw that like a real person was in that band, that I had their CD, their poster. You had a music video on MTV, and I was like that close to you guys. And that was like such a pivotal moment.
Wow.
What were you doing at Staples?
I don't even remember.
You needed you need to like fax something or copy.
We talked about this
some-
over the years. I don't even remember what
Yeah,
I was doing.
it was
Why was
a-
I going
yeah.
to Staples?
Well, back then we were in the van still,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
definitely, and we were probably doing our own tour managing, whatever you call it.
Totally
Didn't realize
pre-internet, like, it was all analog.
Oh, we were definitely driving by an atlas and getting lost every city we ever went to.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much easier life would have been if we had like a phone with a GPS just to like take us right to the club every single time. Oh, we're going to be there in 14 minutes.
Adventures just changed. Though.
Oh yeah,
Like
it was definitely an adventure, and it's fun. And there were so many fun stories. Like we got lost in Philly one time, and we're like south of the airport or something like that. And Yuri's driving, he's totally confused, and he's freaking out. He's like, "Which way is north?" And we're like, "It's that way." I think he got out of the van and was standing there like practically hyperventilating because he couldn't figure out which way was north. And it's like that just doesn't happen anymore.
No, you don't need to know which way is north.
Who
Yeah.
cares, right? We're like, we didn't care. We're like, who
Yeah,
cares?
we were like, just go. We've been here before. It's
We'll
off
figure it
that
out.
way.
We tell bands though all the time, like before iPhones, before social media, like you had to put posters up and hand out flyers and go to malls and try to find kids who look like they might come to your show. Like it was as simple as that. You were just trying to like promote each show, day of the show, and you would book these little venues.
Yeah.
And it was all just like, it was all hand to hand.
Did you walk around high school with like a back pocket full of flyers?
For sure.
Same,
and like
same.
demo tapes
Yeah.
and, we'd throw our own shows at like FOP lodges and all that stuff. And to think today you can do things on social media and you can really promote things. Now, like you're saying, there's a lot more noise to cut through. So it's harder in some ways, but in other ways, it's easier. iPhones obviously would make the van touring a lot easier because how many times did we miss a fucking turn?
Yeah.
And go an hour.
You had
out of the
handwritten.
way.
It's always
you had
the wrong
handwritten-
way.
You had handwritten directions from some guy, and it was always backwards.
Yeah.
We got to one point on a tour. We got to where we just did. If it says right, go left, and we got there quicker.
Dude, you remember Oklahoma City, your birthday,
Yes.
March 11th. You and Deb,
My 22nd birthday.
was it
Oh my gosh,
22nd?
wow.
Yeah.
Or 22?
Or 21 or 22.
I thought it was 21.
21 maybe, yeah.
Because
We were on tour. Yeah, it was 21.
if it was your 22nd birthday, you guys didn't take advantage because you were like, yeah, we've never really been to a bar. Like, am I right?
It might be 21.
And we were playing pool.
Yeah.
I met my wife that weekend
Really?
that I'm still married to now.
That's right.
How wild is
I
that?
totally forgot that. That's
Yeah.
where you met her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
So thanks. You guys were
yeah.
part of it.
Dude. That was a birthday I'll never forget. That was, but also I think it was, and it had to be 21 because it was such a big deal. I remember like that was such a big birthday. I can't believe I would forget which year it was, but I remember that birthday very clearly. Cause you guys kind of like taught us how to go to a bar.
Well, we were
how to
only-
like go big.
We were literally only a couple years older than you
Yeah.
guys, but
You
we
had way more miles.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take long once you turn 21 to like if you're on tour.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Yeah, I mean, being on tour. Yeah.
the night that Tom turned 21, we were in Florida,
No, we were in Chicago.
Chicago?
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay, so that's the night I turned 21, we were in Florida.
Yeah, it was same
and
tour.
we drove and we same tour, partied so hard that Tom was puking in the toilet the whole bus ride and saying, "Make it stop."
Yeah.
And I was hungover, but it was the night before my birthday. So the whole next day was like hungover, and then we had to do it all again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is drinking. I don't know if I can handle this.
But back to the origin of that tour, the first time we saw you in that little ass venue that now doesn't exist. I mean, it was like a little place, but getting to see you guys was like for me and like actually that close to like, it was all a mystery to me until then. Right.
Curtain was pulled back.
Being able to like see real people like, and then watch the show, and the show was amazing. It was nuts. And I'm sure you guys probably just did little punk shows like that everywhere at that time. Just like they were all nuts. There was like 500 people packed into a place that holds 200.
Every night
or-
was chaos.
chaos. Yeah. And that was one of the key moments I give a lot of credit to for me, where it clicked like, oh, we could do this. Like we could actually do this. Like this is possible. Like
Yes.
other people are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge moment to have as a kid, like to realize,
Yeah.
oh,
At like 15, 16, I think at the time. And then we got so emboldened to like go for it and push harder. And so then to get the tour with you guys, like a few years later, like 2000, I think was that tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get the tour with you guys was such a huge deal for us because you guys were like one of our favorite bands. And I'd say like one of our formative bands, like I think you guys and like Rancid was another one that we just like loved.
Yeah.
But you guys were a big one. I mean, you guys were one of the main ones that when we first started, that Good Charlotte was like following, modeling after.